Israel launches airstrike into Iran. Explosions heard in central region. In a moment that would mark a turning point in Middle Eastern geopolitics, Israel initiated an audacious airstrike on Iran, sending shockwaves across the central regions. The skies, once a symbol of the vast, untouched landscapes, were now lit with the fire of conflict, transforming the horizon into a canvas of turmoil. The surprise attack by Israel on Iranian facilities underscored a dramatic escalation in tensions between the two nations. This bold maneuver was not just a military action, but a profound statement of defiance, signaling a new chapter in their long-standing animosity. Eyewitnesses in central Iran recounted the harrowing experience of loud explosions that shattered the calm of their daily lives. Their testimonies painted a vivid picture of fear and uncertainty as the sounds of destruction echoed through the ancient lands, a stark reminder of the fragility of peace. The global community watched in apprehension as the Israel-Iran conflict intensified. Nations around the world braced for the repercussions, understanding that this confrontation could unravel the delicate tapestry of international relations and alter the course of history. Analysts began to delve into the strategic implications of Israel's airstrike on Iran, pondering the motivations and potential outcomes of such a bold move. This analysis would prove crucial in unraveling the complex web of alliances and enmities that define the Middle East, offering insights into the possible futures that lay ahead. In the hours following Israel's airstrike on Iran, world leaders were quick to voice their stances. The global arena became a stage for vehement condemnations, urgent calls for restraint, and expressions of unwavering support for peace. The aftermath in Iran's heartland painted a bleak picture. Visuals and reports emerging from the epicenter revealed the extent of destruction. Buildings lay in ruins, and the air was thick with despair, underscoring the human cost of conflict. Scholars embarked on dissecting the strategic implications of Israel's move. Analyzing the precision of the strike, they debated its potential to shift regional power balances. The discourse extended to forums and think tanks, pondering the long-term ramifications. As the dust settled, the tactical mastery behind Israel's strike became evident. Military experts pointed out the operation's execution, noting its implications for future warfare. The strike was not just a message in firepower, but in strategic foresight. The human impact of the airstrike was profound and heart-wrenching. Families were torn apart and communities displaced, casting a shadow over the region. The world was reminded of the stark realities of conflict, where civilians bear the brunt of geopolitical strife. The airstrike by Israel on Iranian soil not only marked a significant escalation in hostilities, but also raised complex questions under international law. Legal scholars debated the justification of such an act, scrutinizing whether it constituted a breach of sovereignty or could be defended under the doctrine of self-defense. The discourse around these legal ramifications underscored the precarious balance between national security interests and adherence to international legal standards. In the immediate aftermath, the global economy felt the tremors of uncertainty. The Middle East, a pivotal region for oil production, saw speculative surges in oil prices, affecting markets worldwide. This economic consequence highlighted the interconnectedness of global markets, showing how military actions can have far-reaching impacts beyond their immediate geopolitical context. The social media landscape erupted with a flurry of activity as news of the airstrike spread. Public opinion was sharply divided, with some expressing support for Israel's right to defend itself, while others condemned the action as an aggressive violation of international norms. This digital arena became a battleground for narratives, each side vying to sway global sentiment in its favor. Behind the scenes, meticulous planning preceded the airstrike. Intelligence agencies and military strategists had worked in concert to identify targets, assess risks, and anticipate Iran's possible retaliatory measures. This coordination underscored the complexity and high stakes involved in executing such a decisive military action. The diplomatic fallout from the airstrike was immediate and widespread. Allies and adversaries alike scrambled to respond, weighing their interests in the volatile Middle East landscape. For Iran and Israel, The event marked a significant turning point, reshaping their bilateral relations and setting the stage for an uncertain future in regional politics. Amidst the smoldering ruins left by Israel's airstrike on Iran, experts convened to dissect the strategic outcomes. Analysts pointed to a precarious shift in regional power dynamics, underscoring the operation's intent to dismantle Iran's escalating influence. The reverberations of the attack were felt far beyond the immediate blast radius, heralding a new chapter in Middle Eastern security concerns. The strike not only heightened tensions, but also cast a long shadow over the fragile stability of the region. In the aftermath, civilians bore the brunt of the conflict, their stories of displacement and loss painting a harrowing picture of war's true cost. Personal accounts emerged from the rubble, each narrative adding to a mosaic of human suffering. The global stage was set alight by the incident, with allies and adversaries of both nations drawn into a complex web of diplomatic engagements. International reactions varied, from outright condemnation to tacit approval, reflecting the geopolitical chessboard. Environmental repercussions unfolded in the wake of the military action, as assessments began to reveal the extent of the damage. The strike's ecological footprint underscored the broader, often overlooked, consequences of warfare in the modern age. In the aftermath of the airstrike, the once serene landscapes of Iran were marred by destruction, signaling a grim turn in the environmental toll of modern warfare. The scorched earth and ruined habitats stood as silent witnesses to the devastating impact of military aggression, underscoring the urgent need for environmental considerations in conflict zones. The digital realm swiftly became a battleground as Iran and Israel engaged in a shadow war of cyber operations. This new front, less visible but equally potent, highlighted the evolving nature of warfare, where digital prowess can tip the scales of power and influence without a single bullet being fired. As the dust settled, the propaganda machines of both nations ramped up, crafting narratives designed to sway international opinion and justify their actions. This war of words, fought in the global arena of public opinion, demonstrated the power of media in shaping perceptions and molding the geopolitical narrative. The question of escalation or resolution hung heavily in the air, with the international community holding its breath. The strategic chess game that ensued was fraught with uncertainty, as analysts pondered whether this incident would spiral into a wider conflict or open the door to diplomatic negotiations. In response to the threat, Iran bolstered its defense mechanisms, investing in advanced anti-aircraft systems and tightening security protocols. This move underscored the perpetual cycle of action and reaction that defines the precarious balance of power in the Middle East, highlighting the relentless pursuit of security in an ever-volatile region. In the aftermath of the airstrike, diplomatic channels buzzed with activity as nations sought to quell the rising tensions. Peace efforts became the forefront of international discussions, aiming to bridge the widening chasm between Israel and Iran. The landscape of the Middle East, long marred by conflict, found itself at another crossroads. The airstrike not only heightened military alertness, but also triggered an arms race, with neighboring countries bolstering their arsenals in anticipation of further escalations. Global markets wobbled under the strain of uncertainty, reflecting the economic fragility that such conflicts exacerbate. Investors and governments alike braced for the ripple effects, wary of the long-term implications on oil prices and regional stability. Voices for peace emerged from the chaos, a chorus of calls from around the world advocating for diplomacy over warfare. These appeals highlighted the human cost of conflict, urging a return to dialogue and negotiation. Amidst the turmoil, the environmental toll of the airstrike became a poignant reminder of war's broader impacts. Assessments began to reveal the extent of the damage, underscoring the urgent need for sustainable resolutions to conflicts.